Old Dominion presents Best in the Game. Old Dominion freight lights helping the world keep promises. Nation's #1 LTL character. I heard a man say that one time. Since October, you look at how the Georgia defense has performed, and Jaxson Dart has been outstanding as well, but he's gotten hit a lot. See if Georgia's defense can handle that. But, boy, they really motivated by the way Georgia manhandled them on both sides last year.
Yeah, certainly going to have to shore that up. But I think the big conversation is this Jaxson Dart. Going into the season, you're talking about potential top 3 pick in the NFL draft, Heisman combo, explosive offense. Last week against Arkansas, after the Halloween conversation, he won absolutely bananas. It was fun to watch a Lane Kiffin offense do their thing. It was fun to watch Jaxson do his thing. We got some film that we need to go ahead and check out here, actually. First one, you're talking about some great protection from the boys up front. Allow him to go from 1 to 2 to 3. Nah, you know what? I'm going to hit 4, actually, with the opened up space there. Clean operation, clean protection, everything come together, and Jaxson throws a dart. You see what I did there?
That's it.
Bullseye from Jaxson with the Mossy. Now, let's talk about the second one here. Defense comes with a double-A blitz. You know, whenever you have that, you know 6 are coming. You're going to have somebody free. He doesn't panic. He sees pressure in his face. Then he takes it up the middle and says, I'm out of here. You got your back to me. You're going to be in man coverage because I brought a little bit of pressure. I'm going to make you pay. Jaxson Dart played his best ball against Arkansas. This is everything we thought he was going to be. And then the deep ball accuracy is still very much there. They go trips to the left and motion the guy in the backfield. The safeties rock and roll to the other side. And he knows he has one-on-one to the outside. He knows it. This is my guy versus your guy. You got cat coverage? Sweet. I got a cat arm. I dropped that thing. Boom, in a bucket for a touchdown. Wow. They have some explosive plays. They had some mobile plays. They had some good protection. Jaxson Dart stayed clean. It was like that Ole Miss offense was everything we thought they were going to be last week against Arkansas. Can they do that against Georgia? We shall see.
Good Coach. You know, I think Jaxson Dart is a great player, no doubt. But he has not had great success when they have to match up against dominating defenses. And, you know, to me, Georgia's front seven may be the best front seven when they get it cranked up of anybody in the country in terms of affecting the quarterback. And if they can affect Jaxson Dart, that will affect the big plays that they can make. And Ole Miss is really a big play offense.
Yeah, for me, Coach, going into this game, the storyline is Ole Miss's defense. Of course, you think about Jaxson Dart, think about Lane Kiffin, how many points they can score. But I've been impressed with their defense, especially their front seven. They lead the FBS in sacks with 42 sacks, 18 sacks in the last 2 games. And, guys, when it comes to tackle for loss, 94 on the season. The closest team to them is Duke with 77. They love to play in the opponent's backfield. Let's see if they can get after Carson Beck.
Yeah, that was a big emphasis. Obviously, made a big investment in that area. We talked about that earlier. Coach, I'm with you. I think we all sit back and look at Pat's tape and really respect what Jaxson Dart and this offense is capable of. But I think the whole theme of this game is going to be whether or not Georgia, Glenn Schumann, a defensive coordinator, can come up with different looks to get his guys loose, to create some one-on-one matchups up front. Let's take a look at today's road test presented by Goodyear. And there are 3 different ways that they're going to try to create this pressure. First, it's obvious with the blitz. Like I said, when they bring those linebackers, they create one-on-ones. And Jalen Walker, 11, more than likely on that blitz will get home. The stunt, sometimes they show pressure, but they drop out, and then they just get movement up front. Again, create confusion and get after that offensive line. It's not about Dart. It's about the offensive line affecting them to get the dart so he can't make those plays downfield. And then at times, they just win up front. Michael Williams or Jalen Walker, he's the spy here, and he cleans it up. So they don't always have to bring pressure and have their corners live on islands. They can also have that delayed blitz. Now, if they don't get home, the biggest fear that Georgia has this year, we saw it earlier at times, is these corners get their eyes in the backfield. And if Dart, who gets the ball downfield as well as anybody, has the time, he's going to be able to make the plays that we all keep talking about, that you just talked about, but it's all about that front and the pressure if they can create it.
Okay, Ole Miss upsets number 3, Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah,
just stepped right into it.
I'll tell you how to do it. Number 1, the offense of the LSU is ranked in the top 10, 13 different categories, including number 1 in passing. 2, their defense leads the nation in 3 categories, including pressure quarterback. Now, 3, most important, Georgia had 52 against them last year. Beat them by 35. Enough said. Upset. Ole Miss over Georgia.
Okay.
And Stanford Steve, that was an eloquent platform that Lee Corso laid out for you.
Yeah.
He made some compelling points. Has he swayed you?
One word, disagree. Disagree. You guys touched on the Georgia defense. If Ole Miss wants to go with the short game, they tackle so well. And when you hold the ball, I like the matchup of Georgia's defensive line against Ole Miss's line. We're going with the dogs.
Dogs. Easy pick.
Technical.
He's been making a lot of good picks.
See this year in the Alabama defense, though it has the overall third down numbers are fine, but in the clutch, some of the bigger games they've struggled to get off the field with third and fourth down, and LSU has not struggled to stay on the field on third down. That figures to be a really big deal tonight, as is the Alabama secondary trying to match up with the LSU receivers if the Tide can't get a pass right.
I tell you what, LSU, they got some weapons out there. And it was on display in the Ole Miss game. They were fighting in the fourth quarter, had to get a touchdown to tie it up and sit in overtime. Let me show you how the weapons came to the surface. Man, that was a hell of a game. Let's start with the tight end, Mason Taylor, son of Jason Taylor, Hall of Fame. He's right there at the top. Now, he's in a slot position right now. Once the motion goes outside, he's going to be matched up with a pretty nifty DB who's 6'1", 185 pounds. What I like about Jason, he's light on his feet. For a guy 6'5", watch how he attacks the technique of the DB just enough so he can cross his face. That was 4th and 6. Big play. Aaron Anderson, about 5'8", 187 pounds. They're going to motion outside him. He's in the slot right now. I love watching this young man play. When they motion him to the outside, Aaron's like, okay, the whole middle of the field is open. He snaps it off. This was the touchdown to send the game into overtime against Ole Miss. And here's the game winner. I spoke to the coaches. They said Kyron Lacey came to the sideline and said, Coach, get me the one-on-one matchup. I'll end this game. They put him in motion. They got the one-on-one matchup. He's going to run a double move. Watch that double stutter, but then he doesn't commit to the goal because it's a back shoulder throw. He kept the defensive back in front of him for that back shoulder throw. Excellent play, excellent catch. I love the weapons that Nussmeier have. These guys are going to step up big tonight against Alabama.
Certainly, and with Nussmeier and those weapons, I think their run rate is like 130th in the country. You're talking about throwing the ball all over the place. So then you immediately have to ask, can Alabama stop a high-powered passing offense? Well, let's go back to the Mizzou game, shall we? We got some tape here on how this defense was able to rally against a very elite wide receiver. Now, quick alley screen here to the right, but watch how the team has relentless pursuit. Look how many people are around the ball right there. That's buy-in. That's how you've got to stop big-time plays, especially in the pass game. That's supposed to be an extension of the run game. Then, easiest way to affect a passer is to put pressure on the quarterback. Obviously, he has some time to potentially put it into a spot, but the D-line presses the pocket, force him outside. He can't get back to the read, and then what? It's a no play. Could have been a touchdown. Instead, no play because the D-line's able to get there.
34's playing. He's playing well.
Very well. And you're talking about help over the top. You understand that Luther Burton's going to potentially be able to go, just like Lacey would be able to go, and Mason Taylor. They got eyes on the ball, and they got ball hawks in the back. Now, they're able to do that against Mizzou, and they're number 5 in takeaways, 12 on third down, 27th on red zone. So they're good defense, but they're going to have to shut down this passing offense, which is obviously easier said than done.
I don't think there's any question about that, but I think the key to this game is the resiliency that Alabama can show as a team. You know, when we came in here when Tua was playing quarterback, we went right down the field like shit through a tin horn. We get down there in the student section, man, and we get 4 straight false starts that take us right out of field goal range.
Yep.
But the key to the drill was it never affected anybody.
Right.
You know, you hate to get the penalties, but you can't be affected. You know, Alabama was affected at Tennessee when they had snap count problems early. I think it affected them. They cannot get affected by that type of thing and how they play this game. You've got to create momentum to keep the crowd out of the game, and that comes from consistency and playing play in and play out.
You know, you've used that tin horn thing there for a couple of years, and I've always wanted to ask you
what it means, and I can't explain what it means.
No, I think we understand.
It sounds
we
great.
understand. I think what you said is that thing's running. I think there's no resistance.
It just goes right through.
Yeah, just like
Okay.
Tua and you guys, right
Is that
down
a
there.
West Virginia saying, or is that a...
I don't think I've ever heard shit through a tin horn.
I don't know why you would put that in a tin horn. That's what has me confused.
I wondered
That's the first question.
I wondered if the tin horn was for that, because he says it.
be.
You know. By the way, one thing about the actual game for me, I'll be calling this game tonight.
The actual game? Or?
From the 10 horn to the game.
Okay, sweet.
Fowler and I and Holly Rowe call this game tonight on ABC, and we're fired up to be able to present that. Jalen Milroe handling the atmosphere, the operation. Forget the XOs, the operation. Last year under coach, they went to A&M, like 9 false starts. Earlier this year in Knoxville, crowd definitely had a factor early in this game. What can Kalen DeBoer do early in the game with this and that atmosphere to try to not make that be a factor in deciding the outcome?
I don't think they're going to show up tonight. I don't think these people are going to show up tonight. I don't think so.
Yeah.